Good afternoon, Lee Douglas. How are we?
We're well. Dear listener, it's so gorgeous to be here for Queer Gals Watch the West Wing. I'm so excited to talk about this episode, Fiona.
Do you know what? I think I have to start by sending a lot of love and a lot of thanks to our listeners, because this has been a wild ride of episodes leading up to this point. And we try as best as possible to make this a spoiler-free space. And it has remained that way.
You've all been so good.
You've all been so good. So we start with thanks and we move forward to discuss episode 6 of season 4 of The West Wing, Game On. And Lee, game on it is.
The game is on.
The game is afoot.
I'm overwhelmed. I'm lost for words. Let's just get into it.
Let's just dive into the episode recap. So, previously, debate camp, and our previously on going into this episode was straight in on Ritchie versus Jed, a sprinkling of Sam's side quest to regain lost ground in California.
I was beside myself at the previously on alone. I was like, okay, we are in. Like, it felt like I loved season 3, but it felt like we did get into a slightly fillery place in the mid part of season 3 at times.
So I have a theory about this, which I may elaborate on later. So pull me up on that to come back to it at the end of the episode recap. We open with a ruffled Toby, my favourite kind. It's Tuesday, it's 7:25 a.m, which is too early to be at work, but here we are.
Imagine being at the office at 7:25.
If you love your job and you love your co-workers, and quite frankly, you are like running a country, I can imagine
that's
a world
so
in which, but the current existence I'm in, I would be very blue.
I would be very distressed. That is true. I've never had like a day job that I cared about that much that I'd be willing to be there at that time.
Truly. So hats off to the team.
One of my coworkers absolutely destroyed me the other day by being like, Lee, you have so many side quests. And I was like, oh, that's what I think of as my actual career is to you. It's a series of baffling side quests.
It's because we have been tarnished with this brush, which is the phrase, Jack of all trades, master of none. But that isn't the whole phrase, Lee.
What?
So people always say, Jack of all trades is a master of none. And that's like the end, being like, oh, like you'll try a little bit of everything, but you're never like applying yourself to one thing. But that's not the full quote. A jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one.
That is life-altering. That is life-altering information.
It literally means the opposite thing. It literally means the opposite thing to what we've been told.
I'm amazed. I'm flabbergasted. I'm going to have to take this home and think about it for a while. Wow.
Because actually, I think it's amazing when people are like, I've always known what I was supposed to do. And I have a deep level of respect for that. But as someone who has done many things and has many pages to the kind of...
The tapestry.
The tapestry has many panels. I've always been like, oh, that's just because I can't settle on something. But hey, maybe I'm just a Renaissance woman.
You are a Renaissance woman.
You know when like people back then were like, I'm a scientist, but I'm also an artist and I also invent things. Men have been doing that for literally hundreds of years. So I think I'm just going to take that. I'm going to be a master of none, but I am better than a master of one.
Exactly. And you know who didn't pick a lane? Virginia Woolf. So why should we?
And you know, had a great time with the ladies?
Virginia Woolf.
Just taking people's wives and taking them to Europe. And for that, I have nothing but respect. Welcome to the first side quest of this episode of Queer Gals Watch the West Wing. So we open with a ruffled Toby.
Yes.
He's sort of striding through the halls. He's been picked up by Leo. Leo's like, man, like something's going on with Jed. He can't like remember the stuff we were working on yesterday. Like I think he's kind of choking.
I was like, we're having an MS episode. Nightmare fuel.
I was like, okay, Jed isn't ready for the debate. He's spiraling. This means Leo and Toby going to spiral. Nothing more scary than when a co-worker says he's in his head and that person in question is the president of the United States. I personally love the deadpan delivery from Toby Ziegler. This isn't supposed to happen with you guys.
Christians?
There's a lot of conversation about we can't work out what the 10 words are.
The 10 words. The thesis statement, if you will.
And that's why I needed you in the room.
The log line.
These things. Yeah. We then go into the Oval Office and we're like practicing, like kind of throwing some questions around with Jed. He like can't make an answer.
It's scary.
Like, honestly, I was having palpitations.
I was filled with dread. In my mind, spiritually, I was in that montage in the film Wimbledon, starring Kirsten Dunst, where everything starts to go wrong and she like breaks her racket.
Yeah, I feel like it rains.
Yeah.
It was honestly, I thought, oh, this is it. Like, it's all over. Leigh, it was a joke.
I can't take practical jokes.
Bet.
I can't take practical jokes in 2026.
Bet. I'm sorry. In the world we live in now, my cortisol levels are so high, I can't deal with this sort of tomfoolery.
Off the charts.
Frankly.
I'm going to be a wrinkled prune by 37 because of the cortisol levels currently in my body in 2026.
Like, everyone's laughing. Jed then says one of the most unhinged things ever, which is, and you big bear, come to me. I'm going to kiss you right on the mouth. I'm like, would we think it was appropriate to play with Toby this way? But I would have to log with the wingnuts. I think we see a smile from Toby here. So just before we smash to credits, Toby says he's ready. And I think there's a flicker of a smile.
I would concur.
Smash. We're in California, baby. And Sam Seaborn's climbing out of his car and he's trying to fold a map. And that is all of us trying to fold a map. And he just sort of screws it up in a ball and throws it in his car.
A moment for the era of maps and a moment of gratitude for me that I don't live in that era.
Because you're struggling as it is with maps on your phone. And I say that with love and respect to you, Leigh. Your sense of direction is worrying.
I went to Pilates this morning and I had to check right and left by getting my thumb and index finger out multiple times just to be able to do Pilates.
Now, the thing that I'd like to remind our listeners of is that Leigh has a driving license both in the UK and in the USA. So I keep her off the roads as much as possible. We're at the kind of campaign hub of the candidate Wild, who died of a heart attack. Sam is behaving in an unhinged manner. I don't know if it's because he's excited or like socially anxious, but at one point he's trying to find a man called Will Bailey and he makes a kind of joke based around the film It's a Wonderful Life and like sort of starts screaming, like he starts screaming quotes from the film in this young woman's face.
He's wired. You know, we've all had a stressful work period.
And excitedly, because a new character enters our screen. Hello, Will Bailey.
Hello.
The man from my DVD menu. Eyebrows. And none other than Joshua Malina.
Yes. Co-host of the West Wing Weekly.
And we know does join the cast.
Yes.
I think his like kind of byline on Instagram is, "Hi, I ruined the West Wing." So really excited to hear more from Will Bailey and just genuinely Joshua. It's really fun. The kind of campaign offices, it's just like an old mattress showroom and they've like linked all the mattresses together to make offices.
Very fun. We love a ramshackle moment.
Truly, and like people are like making signs. There's a lot of hustle and bustle. They're still running the campaign even though the guy died.
Correct. Yes. And what I will say is a moment of conjecture, Fiona. He at one point calls a group of small children into the campaign headquarters and he says, "Sally and the suffragettes, what have you got?" And they show some campaign signs that they've been working for. And the eagle-eyed Elizabeth Hall noticed within moments of her being on screen that one of those little girls is in fact Ashley Benson, who went on to star in Pretty Little Liars and date Cara Delevingne.
Well, here we are. It's a first here on Queer Gals Watch the West Wing. Child actors spotted. This is fun because because in Isaac and Ishmael there was some other child actors in that episode too. One who went on to be in the reboot of 90210. This is fun.
Yes, so pleased to see Ashley. So I wonder if this was her televisual debut.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah.
Sam is being like very intense and kind of kicking a man while he's down because Will's very I'm really focused. We're still going to do it. You know, yes, Wilde is dead, but like we're going to keep going.
Yes, if Sarah Palin hadn't ruined this word, I would say he was a maverick. You know?
Yeah. We need to reclaim maverick.
We do.
It is a really good word.
And I don't know that she ever actually knew what it meant.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Wild, isn't it, to think back to her? Like when we thought, wow, this is as bad as it's going to get.
I know.
Isn't that crazy?
So sad.
Isn't it?
Back to the West Wing?
Yeah. The campaign's become embarrassing to us. It's a national joke. I think that's unfair to say to someone who's working very hard.
Yeah. But we know that no one pivots 180 degrees quite like Sam Seaborn. So if he's going in hard on something, he's going to have exactly the opposite stance by the end of the episode.
In about 30 minutes time. Yeah. Also, I will say that Will is wearing the hell out of some naughties glasses frames. So good on you, boy.
Proud of him.
Back at the West Wing, final moments of prep. And a kind of odd trio moment between Toby, his ex-wife, and CJ.
Yes, there's something incredibly camp about Toby in a room full of people saying, I need Congresswoman Wyatt, when he is in fact referring to the woman who is about to be his baby mama.
Yeah, who's carrying his children. And also his ex-wife. CJ and him kind of have like a little back and forth, and he's being very Toby about it. And he just says the line, I find competitiveness so feminine in tall women. Which I feel is playing with fire. And CJ just knocks back at him, don't heckle around with me, Phyllis.
I plan on saying this to you at an undisclosed moment. It feels very suited to you as a person. So I'm just going to find a good moment to slip that into everyday conversation with you, Fiona.
Thank you so much. I would love that. So the thing that CJ's getting so salty about is the fact that Toby wants her to contact Abbey Duncan, who is an old Republican, who you reminded me we have met before.
Yes.
And basically spin for us post-debate because Governor Ritchie has got a Democrat spinning for him. So it's kind of like, this is how we be bipartisan. Is that what I mean?
I think it's like, if they've got one of ours on their team, we should have one of theirs.
Get one of theirs.
Yeah.
CJ closes out by going, I'm crazy about the roundness of your head. Which, as someone who lives with and is in a relationship with a person who doesn't have hair, I will be taking forward when I just need to kind of get under the skin of my partner. So CJ's now going to have to kind of find Abbey Duncan and I'm sure have some sort of crazy interaction with him.
Absolute comedy gold from Andy to end the scene as CJ walks away, having behaved in a mental manner. Andy just ends the scene by going, she's nervous.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, that much was clear, Andy.
All right, let's make it interesting. Let's add incentive. The president wins the debate tomorrow night. You marry me again.
How about if the president wins the debate tomorrow night, he gets elected president again?
Very good from Andy being like, should we just focus on what's happening here? He then throws out some names for their children. Beatrice and Bluto, I think, are the two names floated at this point.
I mean, I'm not against Beatrice as a name. Bluto, I have questions about.
Yeah. I kind of love the concept of being in quite a high-stress environment with your ex-partner who is carrying your children and you just being like, oh yeah, our children, and then just naming them something that has not been discussed. I think that's quite fun. And then just every time just full name them.
Yeah.
Different names you haven't discussed. Andy's hair through all of this is perfect. Like, she's having a full argument with her ex-husband and she just looks so hot. And I love them. And if they got married and it was on the show, I would be overcome.
I know, it's the pregnancy glow. She has amazing hair. Yeah.
But back to the OC. Will Bailey is absolutely killing it. In fact, he does a press briefing, and I would say it's almost as if he was trained by CJ herself.
Yes. Yes.
The way he kind of handles the press and is like calling on each of them by name, and like he's funny with it.
Yes, he's got the quips.
Yeah.
He's sending out zingers.
And then just he and Sam have this kind of weird heart-to-heart on the beach.
We're suddenly in kind of a Tom Stoppard production for a moment.
Just two guys like sitting in the sand.
It all becomes a little absurdist for a moment there. I'm not against it.
No, it's just odd, right? Because it feels like Sam's like very much big brothering him, and Will's just like, I actually am so fine. I kind of don't need your guidance.
Yes.
Like, I'm actually very good at my job.
It feels like we're kind of meet-cuting them.
Yes.
Because we've seen Sam lose a lot of friends in the last few seasons.
Yes.
And I think he maybe needs a new friend for a new era.
I mean, my dream is obviously kind of like a enemies to lovers storyline.
Of course.
Because I would just love to see Sam fall into the arms of a beautiful man.
Lest we forget Toby's ex-lover in Indonesian prison.
Yeah, his French ex-lover. And then he kind of signs off by saying, your tie doesn't go. And this is the first mention of ties in this episode, where who knew neckties was such a big deal to Aaron Sorkin?
He was really on one about neckties in this episode.
Shall we go to debate day?
Please.
Speaking of ties, we then go to a mental scene where we're like, it's almost like something out of Miss Congeniality.
Yes.
We're like choosing the president's tie and outfit. Like there's like a mannequin with a suit on. There's like a woman with like swatches.
I think this is quite true to life. I know that they did take away Obama's khakis. I think Obama was quite partial to a tan suit before becoming president. And they were like, no, it's not formal enough.
No.
The president can't be in a khaki.
Exactly. But it feels like what we said is, this is the right tie. And then Charlie now has the tie. And I'm very on edge about the tie. We then see Jordan again. Hi, Jordan.
Hey, Jordan.
Charlie's then like, oh, Jed has a lucky tie that he wore last time for the debates. And I'm going to predict that that tie will get lost.
Correct.
There will be no access to that tie.
Yes, it will be lost to the ether.
Jed and Leo kind of have their little tete-a-tete before the debate, because Leo's going to kind of hang back and do some work in the West Wing. There's no such thing as too smart. There's nothing you can't do, and that's not going to make me proud of you. Eat 'em up. Game on.
We've not had a cutesy moment like this.
Not for a little while.
For a little while between these two. It felt quite emotional, but it also felt a little out of the blue.
Truly, but I can't handle Leo when he's like this.
No, it's too emotional.
When he's so earnest, and when he always pulls Jed to one side, and it's very much the napkin energy.
Yes.
And I think he really sideswipes Jed with it whenever it happens. And I think he also moves himself.
He is moved
which is
by
my
himself.
favorite type of energy.
Undoubtedly. It's very me and you on an opening night.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Just in the dressing room, just me coming in and being like, and one final thing, I love you so much and I'm so proud of you and I think you're amazing and this is just for fun. We're just doing this for fun, right? Okay, see you after.
And you will linger on the bow. You deserve the bow. You're not wasting people's time with the bow.
Come back and do another bow. And she never does, folks. She never does. She always does one and then she runs away. Even when it's the last night and she's getting a standing ovation, she still doesn't come back for a second bow and people are wondering why she doesn't, and just because she's so humble. There's reference, and I'm just putting a pin in this because it will come back later. Someone called Tillman did a speech and it was very good. And I think Tillman's a Republican. I lose the details, but anyway, that will come back to bear fruit later on.
Yes.
Then Leo and Jordan have a big argument about the Kumar issue.
It's so hot.
First of many stressful moments of this episode between these two. And I'm really worried about how this situation is going to snowball.
Agreed. I will say that the way that Jordan closes the door, exactly in sync with the way that Leo closes the door, and then Jordan like erupts, saying, "You stopped a Kumari ship with what, Leo? Are we on another crime spree?"
Yeah, I love a use of kind of dark comedy here from her. I think that's how you connect with Leo.
Agreed.
But I am worried that he's kind of running the country and calling the shots here.
I'm a little concerned as well because Leo says they're strong, I'm stronger. Which I don't think that Aaron Sorkin does anything by accident.
No.
And
you're so right. That's so interesting.
I'm stronger versus like we, the United States, are stronger. I'm stronger is, I wonder if we're kind of peppering in that Leo is overstepping.
That's so interesting. Do we think actually, rather than Leo McGarry being like, I'm going to step back, it might be like his close personal friend, Josiah Bartlet, being like, buddy, I think you're done now. I think it's best that you go. Which would be devastating.
I also was like, are we making a case for Jed making a case for going to war on TV tomorrow?
There's a lot, like, I was really worried that we were going to like win a debate and then go to war.
Yeah. That kind of seemed like it was what Leo wanted to happen.
Yeah, like he's spoiling for a fight and I kind of need him to like have a brawl in a bar rather than like starting a war in the Middle East. As
he says to Jordan, well, if you're going to throw the Swiss in my face.
Luckily, Margaret enters the room in like the sexiest outfit ever, which was very needed.
Did someone say Coco Chanel?
It's like this cream, like thick wool skirt, but it has this little black velvet, like Peter Pan collar. Perfection with the red cunty bob. I ate it up, Leigh. As I always do with whatever Margaret wears, I'm so glad they started dressing her well.
They just started dressing her in an age-appropriate fashion. We've come so far.
This was the point in the episode where I worked out the thing about the 10 words and it's a debating phrase.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, I'm on board. But I am very on edge as we go on to Air Force One and find out that the lucky tie is, of course, no more.
Yes.
It's been ruined at the dry cleaners.
Yes.
Charlie needs to find a replacement, but he is trapped on Air Force One. So he's just like going around the staff trying to find the closest match.
I'm obsessed with how witchy Charlie is getting this season. I feel like we had never seen him be superstitious before, but he's really getting into his witch energy.
Yeah. I think it's just because, like, he is just one of the girls, you know, like he works in a very female dominated environment. And I think he was at that party where they used a Ouija board to summon Margaret's dead aunt or whatever it was.
But what the hell was I thinking? You can't pull this kind of fake out. Now it becomes the bad luck tie and bad things will happen in that tie. Now you've got to face the music and dance alone.
You know what? I think maybe you and the president are obsessing over the tie. I'm going to go throw this notion out on the stoop and see if the cat licks it up. I think the president's performance in the debate had actually very little to do with the tie.
Okay. You heard me say it was your game tie, right?
I do think it's interesting that he goes to Donna with this issue.
It's exactly the correct person to go to with this issue.
People know that she's a fixer.
Yeah.
And also, she is a bit crazy.
Yeah.
And so I think if you're like, hi, I think I'm going to the zoo.
Yes.
If anyone's either going to come to the zoo with me or stop me from going to the zoo, it would be Donna. As the queen of unspooling herself, she is your go-to gal. And I like that she's like, okay, I think this is actually too much.
Agreed. I love that for her.
Charlie then goes and tells Jed. Jed is very calm about it.
Yeah. But he's freaking out on the inside.
Yeah, he's just being papa about it.
Yeah.
Hi, Albie Duncan. You're very old.
Yes. We've met you before when Jed was hitting his head on the desk.
As soon as you said that, I was like, oh, I remember this guy. And I was like, I like Albie. Wait, maybe I don't. I don't know. He's crazy. Everything he said is just insane.
I love that we had a listener question about who do we want to see back in season 4. And it's apparently everyone.
It's Aaron Sorkin's greatest hits, honestly. The man was like, okay, I'm leaving at the end of this season, so it'll be guest star, guest star, guest star. They were in one episode. Bring him back. He's having fun.
He's having too much fun at work. I will say it is fascinating to hear Albie Duncan as the token Republican being the one talking about human rights. I remember when Republicans cared about human rights. It was a simpler time.
Yeah. Yeah, when Republican was like a very broad church.
And predominantly to do with economic policy.
Yeah. Again, 2002 feels like a long time ago when we have these moments. CJ is handling him very well. Can I find you an attractive aide and have her bring you some Schweppes bitter lemon?
Carol?
Carol, go to work. And I was like, oh, okay. The plan here is like to keep eyes on Albie and kind of keep feeding him what we want him to say.
Yes. It is also interesting. At one point, Albie says, I'm too steamed, to which I have to say, is Albie pissed?
There's every possibility that man is drunk. I mean, I think there was a certain like age demographic of like congressmen, senators, government aides who are just like, it's the 2 to 3 martini lunch. It's the Mad Men of it all. Which is like, I'm going to smoke a pack of cigarettes and have 4 bourbons before 3 p.m. and then just do some business like men do.
I want to be one of those men.
Yeah, me too, except I don't really want to smoke and or get drunk because then I just have to nap. If I day drink, I do have to have a sleep. Meanwhile, back at the West Wing, we have an update with Jordan and Leo and Mr. Nasir.
What I will say, dear listener, is that in the shared doc, Fiona, in all caps, has written, I'm scared that we're playing war games mere moments before the debate.
I stand by that. I was honestly, like, I had my head in my hands screaming at the TV screen. I was like, 1, stop cutting away from debate prep. I just want to be full on debate storyline. Also, not today, Leo.
Please not today. Please not today.
It's a tense scene.
We do learn that Jordan has an official title now within the administration.
She has taken the job that Leo offered her. Also, you did log that she's wearing another statement necklace. It's
less crazy than the full padlock from a few episodes ago. It's like a tasteful but large green stone on like an oversized pearl choker.
The statement necklace era really was something, and apparently it's coming back.
I'm not ready.
No, I am just fine as I am.
Speaking of Ashley Benson, we started Pretty Little Liars from the beginning, which I've never seen before. And the statement necklaces are outrageous.
I think Pretty Little Liars and Gossip Girl are really 2 shows to go to if you want to see like the full force of noughties fashion.
I know. I keep watching Pretty Little Liars and going, I had that top.
Yeah. Because it was like, we watched TV and because we watched TV weekly rather than streaming. It was actually a great way to get kids to go to shops and spend money. Because you'd be like, oh, I saw such and such a character wearing this outfit. So I'm going to go and buy that. And it will look hideous on me. Okay, we're at the debate. Leigh.
Yes, we're at the debate.
There's a 2.5-minute countdown. And I swear to God, if this tie isn't on Jed's neck, I'm going to scream.
Yeah, but CJ's really sexy because she just turns to Jed and goes, bring it, boss.
Everyone's like sending him off to the debate in like a very kind of war film-esque manner. Like people are like giving him like firm handshakes and like clapping him on the shoulder as if he's like going to go over the top.
Yeah, it's a bit like that scene in The Wind That Shakes the Barley where they have a mass.
Yeah.
Before the raid.
Yeah. Like if a priest arrived, I wouldn't have been surprised.
No.
I love is it Josh that says nothing but strikes?
Yeah.
Because lest we forget, Josh thinks he could have gone pro in baseball.
And he's only really discovered that that's not going to happen in the last 6 months.
We do see Abigail Bartlet, and Leigh, I would love to disclose to you that she has got bangs and they are really, really bad. Like Stockard Channing is a gorgeous woman, and she has great hair, which has like fantastic texture, and bangs should never have been an option.
We have gone in a full Matilda direction with
wild,
Abby's hair.
The texture of her hair is fighting the bangs in quite an extreme way. She is wearing a bright pink blazer, which is exceptional. A really gorgeous look on her.
You're happier with this pink blazer than Amy's pink blazer.
And on her skin tone.
She's in her color wheel.
Exactly. And therefore I am satisfied. She says all the girls are here. If the daughters are here, show us the daughters, Aaron. We have waited long enough. Stop keeping them from us. You say all 3 are here.
And then you clarify that Ellie's wearing makeup.
It's Ellie's even wearing makeup.
Now, this is very much giving the...
Eleanor is a queer woman.
Eleanor is a queer woman, A. B, it's very reminiscent of a particular gentleman who runs a particular arts festival that will not be named except for in the shared doc, which will go out to our patrons in a private manner, who at an awards ceremony at said arts festival, it was a queer arts festival, said while introducing a woman who I would quite clearly say was of my community onto the stage, said, "Oh, Carol's put some slap on." As the woman was walking onto the stage.
God, that was a toe curling moment.
Oh, Carol's put some slap on. It must be a big occasion.
Cue everyone being like
award ceremony,
trying to cover the fact that Carol, I think, wanted the ground to swallow her up in that moment.
Yes, I will say the same man also does do a solo musical theatre number at said award ceremony every year, and I will leave it up to the listener to imagine what musical theatre number a middle-aged man in the arts might perform for an audience being held hostage once a year.
It gives a new meaning to captive audience. Truly. Like, you couldn't leave that room. You had to watch it happen. Leigh, we've got to go back to the ties.
For the most unhinged moment of this television show thus far.
So a tie has been given to Jed. He has put on said tie. Abby's like, "Oh, it's not the tie." Jed's like, "Yeah, there was a lot of juice in that tie." Don't know if I like that phrase, but we'll go with it. She then goes, "Game on, boyfriend. Let's go. Dead. R.I.P. me. Please plan my funeral tastefully." And then,
at which moment I felt we got confirmation that Abbie is a dom, but
quite truly, I love boyfriend.
I
to
love
describe
boyfriend.
Your full husband of, let's say, probably 30 years, maybe more.
Yeah.
Then she pulls from her pocket a pair of scissors and simply cuts off the tie he's wearing.
I didn't get the significance of this for quite some time. I thought Abbie had had a full mental break.
All of my comments for, I would say, like half a page on our shared doc are just all capitals. She cuts the tie. She then cackles like a maniac. People are then like running around trying to help. Josh then gives his tie to Jed, a la the last debate. Everyone's getting fired up. Then Jed slaps Abbie on the ass and heads out onto the stage.
It's such blatant foreplay.
It's all part of their sex games. He's like, they're gonna get it on later. And he's
literally,
yeah.
Abbie's like, I know how to get my man fired up.
Yeah. Oh my God. And also the thing is, you can 100% see Stockard Channing and Martin Sheen reading the script and being like, "Oh, I think Aaron would want it to be this eyebrows raised, sort of go get him kid moment. Alas, our chemistry is too much. We will not play it that way. We're going to do it as a full-on dom sub sex game."
And he's like, I can't say that.
Do you think he's a bit hard? Is that what you were going to say?
I think he's like, I'm going to be a good boy.
I'm going to be a good boy for you, mommy. I think there's a little of that. I think it's every possibility that when you are the leader of the free world and you are looking after the world and America, that maybe when you get into your bedroom, you need someone else to be in charge.
I think that's exactly it.
Oh.
I'm not alive like this in so long. I'm crying. Okay, we have to move on.
We send him out onto the stage to absolutely destroy a Republican.
To slay the day.
Honestly, to slay. That's the only way you can describe it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I love the choice that when he gets behind his like podium, we then cut to like what we'd be watching if we were watching it on TV.
So good.
Like the graininess of it. The questions, very good questions.
Yes.
The responses, stunningly written.
I will say Ritchie makes an early reference to Eskimo poetry.
Eskimo poetry.
Which I was deeply discomfited by.
All of Jed's responses are so good. He is on point. And the thing is, I also have to give flowers to the actor who plays Governor Ritchie.
Mm.
He toes the line so perfectly of that kind of like Ronald Reagan Republican-esque figure who's like, I'm a man of the people. I'm just a guy out here trying to do a good job.
And he manages to play like a Republican governor from the South who has a reputation for being a bit dim.
Yeah.
Without just doing a caricature of George Bush.
Yeah, and without like playing up and like actually making Ritchie seem unintelligent.
Mm.
Like Ritchie is 100% prepped and like all of these answers, he's not pulling them out of his ass.
No.
That's like what his team have put together for him.
Smart people have written these answers for him. 100%.
Yeah.
Also, why is this the first time I'm ever hearing someone make the argument that partisan politics is good? That is such a good argument.
Isn't it? We'd love to hear that in the mouths of more politicians. We kind of cut back and forth to the kind of the behind the scenes with the team when they're watching it on monitors. Toby's like, I'm not sure I can watch anymore. No, wait, I can. And then I think smiles again.
It's a rare moment of acknowledged victory for Toby. And the debate isn't even over. I have never wanted to cut back to Leo less.
Yeah, I was like, I can't. Something's going to go wrong. Also,
I have to stay at the debate.
I honestly can't go back to Leo and Nasir and Jordan right now. I'm anxious. I am as anxious as Jordan.
Also, just the content of the conversation, I can't, unfortunately, kind of spiritually deal with in the context of current events.
Where we're at in March 2026, it's kind of weird that we're rewatching these episodes now. And there's so much crossover to war.
Yeah, I will say thank God Jordan is there to talk some sense.
Yeah, like turn the boat around, Leo, because we don't need to, we're not starting a war tonight.
There was a reference to quirky little ally, which I didn't enjoy.
No, that was when he was talking about Kumar as our quirky little ally, which I was like, ooh, that's not comfy.
I did enjoy, however, Mr. McGarry, we are both men and we both know there is a charade being enacted here.
Yes.
That was a beautiful power move. I enjoyed that. The
guy playing Nasir is very good. And just like kind of is like calmly like, no. Which I do love.
We love a boundaried man.
Yeah. We kind of get there in the end and Jordan's like, okay, that's enough for tonight.
Yes, but the journey we took to get there was crazy.
Unbelievable. Like do you think because, was it the debate last time when Leo relapsed?
Yes. Yes, it was.
Do you think it's him being like, I need to have a thing? Because if I'm just waiting it out.
I hadn't even considered that context.
But then I'd be like, why don't you just go to a meeting? There'll be a meeting somewhere. Like if you're worried about drinking, don't try and start a war.
That is not the answer, Leo.
No. Jordan's exit line is iconic.
Excuse me, I have a meeting of godless infidels next door.
She's perfect. I look forward to seeing more of her.
Mm-hmm.
But back to the debate. Jed has slayed. There is no more. Ritchie's done, I think, now. He's finished.
Mm-hmm.
There's this kind of circling shot around the gang at the end of the debate as they're like kind of deciding what to do next.
Walking out with no spin is so baller.
Let's just say that the president's on his way back to Washington to get back to work. That's
hot.
That's classy as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Just to be like, well, we're obviously not going to be engaging in any of this chat because we've got work to do in Washington, running this country.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone's like getting a bit excited, and Sam's like, there's going to be a lot of drinking on the plane. And I'm like, oh, are we celebrating too soon? I'm scared. What is something going to happen? And as the debate finishes and like Jed and Ritchie shake hands, Ritchie just leans in and he goes, it's over. And Jed, in a very classy manner, just says, you'll be back. Which I think is very tasteful, actually.
Agreed.
Because there's no reason for him to be polite to Ritchie, because Ritchie was not fucking polite to him at that Shakespeare play thing.
No.
We're once again robbed of the Bartlet daughters.
We're given the backs of their heads by women who are clearly stand-ins.
I was going to say, you just know their stand-ins.
Yeah.
Give me the daughters, Aaron, or I will revolt.
It was a very nice blonde French twist, but I don't believe that blonde French twist belonged to a Bartlet daughter.
No. Show me their faces while he's scared to show me them. But we cut to Laguna Beach at 1 a.m. Because Sam's back in Cali with our good friend Will. He's in a bar. He's just in your average American bar.
It is very that bar, actually.
Yeah. And Will walks in and says this line, which is very fun.
Tammy, I'd like to buy this old guy a beer. He's had a good night.
Which again, for me, is like kind of flirtatious.
It is. I like to think as well that there's like a 3-year age gap between them.
At the most.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we find out that Will Bailey actually wrote the Tillman speech,
Love.
which everyone had been like, oh, Toby, it kind of sounds like you. Sam, it kind of sounds like you. And it's really fun. Shout out to Elsie Snuffin. Great character name. He was like, oh, Elsie wrote all the jokes. She's a writer in a sitcom writing room, but she's the only woman. So like her stuff isn't used, which for me, I think is Aaron. I would love to know if that's like one of Aaron's friends had that experience.
I would love to know. I would love to know if that is in any way based off of, did you watch the Nickelodeon documentary?
Not yet.
You have to watch the Nickelodeon documentary, but there's 2 women in that who I believe wrote on the Amanda Show. Who shared a salary.
Oh, good God. It would be around this time, surely, right? The Amanda Show.
I would love the idea that Aaron Sorkin was maybe friends with one of them.
And outraged. And then, Leigh, something insane happened.
Something mental
happened. And I would like to say that from this moment forward, I have been spiraling. Sam's like, I mean, you kind of might win.
Yeah.
And if you do, then like you need someone to run, like to take that role, because obviously Mr. Wilde is dead. And he said, oh, tell Mrs. Wilde, tell Kay that I'll do it.
I'm beside myself. Have we not mentioned before that we could see Sam in public office in his future? Jed said it to him.
Jed was like, you could do this one day. Like, you could be president. And I think I was like, oh, that's fun. Like, this is the season where we're going to see Sam, like, step into his own and, like, become more present in this White House team.
Not leave it.
Is Rob Lowe going to leave the show?
I think that's what we might be setting up
because
for.
Then we close out with this another tie-based moment. Like, Sam takes off his tie and, like, gives it to Will. And I was like, this is weird. But also, I think I've just seen Sam pass the reins to Will Bailey.
Yeah.
I think this is Rob Lowe being like, and I'm exiting at the end of this season.
It feels like a big deal that he's not at the debate. It feels like we're like showing what the team would be like.
But he was. He's then just gone straight back to Cali rather than going back to Washington.
Was he definitely?
Yeah, because he was
debate?
the one that said there's going to be some drinking on the plane.
Oh.
But it's important that this whole storyline has been Sam's thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, alone. He's not shared it with anyone.
Yes. No.
I'm gagged. This isn't what I thought would happen for Sam Seaborn.
Dear listener, you can tell us nothing.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm just like, I need to get around a world where Rob Lowe isn't in the West Wing, and I don't think I'm ready for that. And
It's not on any planet the person that I saw leaving.
No. And that's where we leave the app.
Aaron Sorkin, I've been burned so many times before. Don't break my heart again.
I know. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens with the election.
Yeah.
Shall we head into the quickfires?
Please.
Best fashion.
I'm going to have to agree with what you've put in the shared doc, which is Margaret's cream suit with the black lapels.
Yeah, it's the fact that it's a velvet collar.
It's just so Coco Chanel.
It's a slam dunk for me, but also just like, here's one pouring out for neckties in general.
Yeah,
never
just
has
a concept.
Never has that accessory had so much airtime on primetime quality TV.
Mm-hmm.
What would a British or Irish politician never get away with?
I have to, again, agree with you. Debating well and not becoming a meme.
Debating well or debating badly, just generally debating and not being memeified.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really hard because I think it's almost impossible in the UK to be earnest as a politician.
Yeah, because normally when you're speaking in Parliament, there's a whole load of backbenchers going,
yeah, and so just like, I think often because a lot of high-ranking politicians are also very wealthy people who have like quite a specific kind of rich person accent. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, it does. Yeah.
Speaking in an earnest manner when you have that accent, there's a bit of like the Lord Marbury of it all.
Yeah.
Where
wild.
you're just like, I can't take you seriously because you just sound so silly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And queerest moment that never meant to be queer.
I think there's no debate about this for me. And it is what you've put down, which is the line from Jed to Toby. And you big bear, come to me. I'm going to kiss you right on the mouth.
Yes. Perfect.
Because
I love it.
Toby is a bear.
Tattoo it on my body. I want to think about it every day. I'm going to kiss you right on the mouth. There's something so enjoyable when someone says, I'm going to kiss you right on the mouth. Mm-hmm. I'm going to kiss you on the mouth. I just love it so much. What was your best writerly moment?
I think the whole CJ Toby exchange introducing the idea that Albie Duncan is returning.
Yes. And CJ being like, why? Mine has to be game on, boyfriend. Let's go. Mm-hmm. Then the scissor reveal and tie cutting. And I think just like in general, just like amazing writing is just the writing for the debate, like the questions and answers.
Yeah, incredible.
Perfect.
Chef's kiss.
Man, I feel like a man.
I have two.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. McGarry, we are both men and we both know there's a charade being enacted here.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I would love at one point in my life for somebody to say to me, we are both men.
Mm. And there is a charade being enacted here. That's a very good line.
It's incredible. And then my other man, I feel like a man is, Tammy, I'd like to buy this old guy a beer. He's had a good night.
Yeah. There's a level of campery to that as well, which I do enjoy. I think mine both came from Toby Ziegler. I'm not sure I can watch any more. No, wait, I can.
Yeah.
And then nothing quite tops. I find competitiveness so feminine in tall women. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what was the moment that made you proudest to be an American?
The president's on his way back to Washington to get back to work.
Yes. Oh, that's very good. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think mine was the moment when Sam's like, tell Kay, I'll do it. And like being like, I grew up a few blocks from here. I don't know. Even though we may lose Sam, and I actually can't think about that concept, there was something very beautiful about Sam being like, well, I love politics and like I could get to do politics in the place where I grew up.
Yeah.
But really I can't think more on it. I feel like there was something that I said, oh, you need to come back and ask me about at the end of the episode recap, but I can't remember what it was.
Okay.
So
Cool.
we'll just move on, and you guys can remind us what I did say. Leigh, it is teaching time.
Yes.
What are we going to learn about?
So today I thought it will become clear why this is relevant to the episode towards the end.
Okay.
But you're going to come on a journey with me. You recall a few weeks ago, we spoke about Title IX.
Yes.
And I mentioned one of the authors of that bill, that famous legislation, was a Congresswoman named Patsy Mink.
Mm-hmm.
Today, we're going to talk about Patsy Mink.
Incredible. Tell me
In
all
more
about
depth.
Patsy.
The first woman of color elected to Congress, number one. But let's take it back a touch further. She was born December 6th, 1927 in Maui, Hawaii, the island of Maui. She was 14 when Pearl Harbor happened. She was born Patsy Matsu Takemoto. Her family had been in Hawaii for 3 generations, but she was from a family of Japanese Americans. At the time of Pearl Harbor, prominent Japanese Americans were being arrested.
Right.
And her father, who was a civil engineer, was taken away for a night and questioned. He was returned home the next day. But when he came home, he burned all of his Japanese mementos.
Oh.
And Patsy Mink is later quoted as saying, "It made me realize that one could not take citizenship and the promise of the U.S. Constitution for granted."
Again, feels very relevant today.
Feels very relevant today. Over 1,000 Buddhist priests, Japanese language school instructors, and newspaper editors and other community leaders were arrested throughout the Hawaiian Islands in the aftermath of Pearl Harbor. But the Japanese population in Hawaii was actually spared the mass incarceration that happened to Japanese Americans on the mainland, namely because Japanese Americans made up 37% of the population of the islands of Hawaii at the time. And so they were a needed workforce. It just wasn't economically feasible to do that in Hawaii. So Patsy Mink lives through Pearl Harbor and the aftermath of Pearl Harbor. She doesn't let it stop her and becomes the first girl ever elected student body president at Maui High School.
Yay.
She graduates in 1944, still in World War II, as valedictorian. She attended both Wilson College in Pennsylvania and the University of Nebraska, but ended up transferring because of racial discrimination that she experienced with students of color not being allowed to live in the same dorms as white students at the time.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because I guess, where are we at? So we're in the 50s now?
No, we're still in the 40s.
Jesus, yeah, okay.
She wanted to be a doctor, but was rejected from medical school, which she later called the most devastating disappointment in my life.
Oh.
And she went on to work several different menial jobs in Honolulu on the island of Oahu, including as a typist at an Air Force base, where one of her supervisors recognized how smart and talented she was and suggested that she apply to law school instead, which she does. She graduates from the University of Chicago Law School as one of 2 women in her class.
Wow.
And was admitted actually by mistake because the university thought that she was a foreign student.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Because of her Japanese name. She was playing bridge at International House one night after dinner when she met John Francis Mink, a World War II veteran who was studying for his doctorate in geology. And he's later quoted as saying, people just looked at her and wanted to be with her.
Oh.
They eventually moved back to Hawaii together to start their life once they'd married. And she registered for the bar, but when she passed it, she couldn't get a job in a law office for a variety of reasons, including that she was in an interracial marriage. They had a baby, and because they believed a woman, quote, should not be out late at night.
Well, sounds very similar to kind of Ruth Bader Ginsburg and the kind of what she felt when she was trying to get involved in law firms and the discrimination that she had. But then on top of that, you've also got racial discrimination as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. She went on to become the first Japanese American woman to practice law in Hawaii when she started her own practice because she couldn't get hired anywhere.
That's iconic.
She also founded the Oahu Young Democrats in 1954, but she didn't have very many clients in her law practice because very few people were willing to hire a young Asian American woman to be their lawyer. So in 1956, she decides to run for the Territorial House of Representatives because we remember Hawaii at this point, still not a US state.
Yeah.
She ran despite the fact that the Democratic Party leadership didn't believe that as a Japanese woman, she was, quote, electable, advised her not to run and gave no support to her campaign.
Great.
So Patsy Mink, yet again, not a woman to be stopped, walked the full length of her district, which is more than half of the land area of Oahu, and just knocked on people's doors.
Yeah.
And spoke to them. In 1959, Hawaii becomes a US state, and she immediately begins campaigning to be elected as a congresswoman. She lost, but she kind of got put on the map nationally because in 1960, she was asked to give a speech on civil rights at the Democratic National Convention in LA, where she said, "If to believe in freedom and equality is to be radical, then I am a radical. So long as there remains groups of our fellow Americans who are denied equal opportunity and equal protection under the law, we must remain steadfast till all shades of man may stand side by side in dignity and self-respect to truly enjoy the fruits of this great land."
What an amazing quote.
And again, a message that's very resonant in 2026.
Yeah.
60 years later.
Yeah.
She was elected as a Hawaii state senator in 1962. And finally, in 1964, she was elected to the House of Representatives as the first Asian American woman to serve in Congress and eventually went on to become the first Asian American to run for president. She was an early critic of the Vietnam War, introduced and sponsored the first federal child care bill and bills establishing bilingual education, student loans, special education, and Head Start. And Head Start is pretty significant for students that come from lower socioeconomic backgrounds because Head Start means that you can start taking community college classes while you're still in high school. So while you're finishing high school, you're already getting college credits, which means that you can graduate from college in a shorter amount of time once you leave high school, meaning that you're not paying student fees for as long.
That's a great initiative.
She worked in DC, but traveled back to Hawaii every other week to make sure she was still connected to the Hawaiian people. And she ended up serving on the Committee on Education and Labor, the Committee on Interior and Insular Affairs, and the Budget Committee. And she was very consistently a voice for those who were discriminated against. She was always fighting for the poor, for ethnic minorities, and for women. She really was a major player in ushering in the social welfare programs that became known as Lyndon Johnson's Great Society, and eventually fought to preserve them when they were under attack decades later.
Yeah.
She's also a girl's girl. This becomes very clear very quickly when reading about Patsy Mink. She and two of her female House colleagues tried to get into the House gym after getting a letter inviting members to join. However, they were turned away by the gym's director, who was, quote, horrified that they had tried to join because the gym was exclusively for men.
Of course.
I
feel that Patsy did not take that well.
No, she did protest. She later explained it was just a symbolic gesture that there are so many ways in which sex discrimination manifests itself in the form of social custom, mores, or whatever, that you really have to make an issue whenever it strikes. You protest it. You can't tolerate it. In 1972, she traveled to Paris with a House colleague to meet with North Vietnamese officials to try and get peace talks going. In 1974, she was able to pass the Women's Educational Equality Act to promote gender equality in schools. And she also participated in a demonstration in support of Anita Hill, who came forward during the confirmation process on Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. And so she was really kind of one of the early adopters of we should believe women as a mentality.
Yeah.
She really had two constituencies for her career in the House, the people of Hawaii and American women across the country. In 1979, she said, I realized that because women were not in politics and because there were only 8 women at the time who were members of Congress, that I had a special burden to bear to speak for them because they didn't have people who could express their concerns for them adequately. She was asked by the Oregon Democrats to run for president with the support of their party. And she was chosen because of her anti-war stance. And she did run. Unfortunately, she only received 2% of the vote. But in 1977, she joined the Carter administration and left Congress to serve as the Assistant Secretary of State for Oceans and International Environmental and Scientific Affairs. Goodness, that is a mouthful. She then returned home to Hawaii and spent 4 years on the Honolulu City Council, which she had joined in order to prevent a power plant that was going to be very environmentally damaging from being greenlit. She was then re-elected to Congress in 1990.
Wow.
And served another 6 terms.
Oh my God, this woman's incredible.
She's amazing. Laura Efford, who worked with her as a legislative aide, said, I think it was disappointing for her to come in again in a different time and era and for there to be these big things that she cared about that were changed in a way that she didn't agree with. But she was also very practical. She was going to try and change the legislation to make it better. This really affected me, but her campaign slogan when she was running again in 1990 was the experience of a lifetime.
Oh.
And she basically was now fighting this new sexist criticism that she was past her prime.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Right? Yeah, especially when you look at how freaking old all of the leading politicians are now.
Mm-hmm. But of course, we know that in her original stint in Congress, she had gotten Title IX passed. And when she met with a group of top WNBA players in 1995, she said, it's rare as a legislator that you fight for legislation you believe in and stay around or live long enough to see it come to fruition.
That's like a good day at work, isn't it?
Yeah, incredible.
I think that's one of the days when you're like, you give yourself a pat on the back and you're like, I actually did really good.
Mm-hmm. In her final term, she was one of the leading people who was raising questions about the creation of the Department of Homeland Security because she feared the new agency would be used to undermine civil rights. Oh, look where we've ended up. Representative Neil Abercrombie, who is a fellow Democrat from Hawaii, said she had already been through that as a Japanese American, seeing people put into detention camps on the basis of what they supposedly were as opposed to what they had actually done.
Yeah.
Patsy Mink died on the 28th of September, 2002. Hawaii historian and author Dan Boylan said, I was always struck by her sense of, well, we lost today, but we're going to win the next time. I think she made her compromises along the way, but she made a hell of a lot fewer than most politicians. She was a principled politician. When she died, I've never seen so many tears flow from hard-headed politicians.
Wow.
Now, the issue with the fact that Patsy Mink died on the 28th of September 2002 was that she was in the middle of actively campaigning to be re-elected to Congress.
A la like in this episode.
So Ira Roter, I'm guessing it's Roter. Ira Roter, a professor of political science at the University of Hawaii, said at the time, the Democratic Party is imploding in Hawaii. Mm-hmm. Right now, there is no Democratic Party here, just a lot of feuding factions. It's like watching a Three Stooges skit. The New York Times said following her death, nowhere is the Democrats' disarray more evident than the unseemly free-for-all to replace Representative Patsy Mink.
Ooh.
She was already on the ballot when she died in September for the election on the 5th of November 2002. She was posthumously re-elected in a landslide.
Wow.
So 2 months after her death, she's re-elected to Congress.
Yeah.
It was past the deadline for the Democrats to put down a new name. So people voted for her as like a sign of loyalty.
Respect and loyalty, yeah, I guess.
And yeah, respect to her career. Her Republican opposition, a politician named McDermott, who was a businessman and former Marine, said, "I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread, but what can I do? I'm running against a ghost."
I think you just need to pick your words much more wisely, sir.
So that's the 5th of November. McDermott loses. Fine. The 30th of November, there's an election to replace Patsy Mink for the remainder of her term.
Mm-hmm.
There are 38 declared candidates.
That's mad. That is mad.
10 Democrats. This is all to serve the remaining 5 weeks of Patsy Mink's term. They included John Mink, her husband, retired civil servants, a former DJ, a funeral home chaplain, and a hotel cashier. The New York Times says the Democratic Party has done nothing to bring order to the chaos by anointing a preferred candidate, saying party rules and state tradition bar them from intervening. The governor at the time, Benjamin J. Cayetano, said that he couldn't get the Democratic Party in Hawaii to unite around a single candidate if he wanted to. He said that Democrats in Hawaii take orders from no one and, quote, "it's like organizing cats."
Oh gosh. Like he's broken. At this point, he's got nothing left.
Finally, the race to replace Patsy Mink for those 5 weeks is won by State Representative Ed Case, who got 51% of the vote. Patsy's widower, John Mink, who was running as a tribute to Patsy, won 36% of the vote. There's an argument about the fact that the election to replace her for those 5 weeks was held on Black Friday when everyone was shopping. There was a huge football game going on between the University of Hawaii and the University of Alabama, which was apparently watched by 46,800 people, and 46,000 flat voted in the election. So there was a lot going on.
Yeah.
But Neil Milner, a professor of political science at the University of Hawaii, said, "This is an election that has very little meaning, that's hard to vote in because there were fewer polling places, no one campaigned, and it's at a time that's between elections, and there was no compelling issue to draw them out. You can turn it around and say, why did people go to the polls at all?" The vibe that I'm getting around all of this is that everyone in the Hawaii Democratic Party was completely exhausted and at their wits' end.
Yeah, it does feel like that.
So yes, Patsy Mink is obviously famous for her incredible career, but also for the fact that she was re-elected to Congress 2 months after her own death. A la this episode. But that is not the only time that has happened. In November 2000, Mel Carnahan, who was the governor of Missouri, won a Senate seat, even though he died 2 weeks before the election in a plane crash.
Oh my goodness.
He defeated John Ashcroft, who he'd had a heated rivalry with for a long time, and who actually went on to become U.S. Attorney General. But Jean Carnahan, Mel's widow, actually took his seat in the Senate, but lost re-election. And then in 2021, Luke Letlow, who was a Republican, died a few days before being sworn into office of complications due to COVID.
Right.
His wife also won a special election to replace him. She is quoted on election night saying, "What was born out of a terrible tragedy of losing my husband Luke has become my mission in his honor to carry the torch and serve the good people of Louisiana's 5th District." And she was actually re-elected in 2024, to be fair to her.
That's nice. That's a nice story.
Some of her policies less so, but we
Sure,
support her.
Yeah.
in ways. But yes, I wanted to highlight Patsy yet again, just for being an icon, and also for potentially inspiring the storyline
Could be.
that we see Sam getting himself into in this episode.
I just feel like I want to watch the movie.
She does deserve a movie.
She does deserve a movie.
You can see how the movie would like start in the days after Pearl Harbor.
TV
as her,
series.
like,
Let's give
origin
her
story.
a mini-series.
Please.
Little mini-series.
And like the inciting incident is her going, oh my God, I've just been the first girl elected student body president at my high school. Maybe there's something in this thing called politics.
Exactly. Leigh, if we aren't seeing it, we've got to make it.
Yeah. And also, she's just said many very prophetic things about the place that we find ourselves in now politically. So just wanted to highlight Patsy.
I'm really glad that we learned about Patsy. Also, I love the name Patsy.
It's so good.
Yeah. Like, I've never met a Patsy that isn't a good time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think also, like, having spent, years living in Seattle, where I always felt the history of Japanese Americans and the absence of history of Japanese Americans due to displacement was so present in my mind that it's always great to be able to highlight the stories of Japanese Americans.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, great study sesh.
Wonderful. Shall we get back together next week and see how this election goes?
Yeah, let's see how this all pans out. I don't know about you, but I feel anxious because everyone feels confident, and that's when I feel at my most worried.
I'm also like, who is leaving the show? Can it be Sam Seaborn?
Yeah, I'm just scared. I just need to know soon, and then I can mourn in my own way.
Yeah.
Okay, Leigh. Well, I'll see you next week.
I'll see you next week. A proposition for you, Fi. I think if and when we come to a moment, we come to a juncture where we're recording an episode in which Sam Seaborn is leaving, I think that we should have a whiskey in his honor.
Look,
during that record.
This series is going to see one, if not more, major cast members leave, I think.
Yes.
And I just think we should have a restorative beverage on hand for when that happens.
Agreed.
So yes, I agree. I don't want it to happen, but I know that it will. And I know that some people will have been loyal to Aaron and will not want to continue with the show if he's not a part of it. But it just upsets me because I like things how they are, and I don't like change because change makes me feel scared and overwhelmed.
And change is frankly more than I can handle in 2026.
I need everything to stay the same. I need my comfort shows to stay the same.
Okay, we are.
We are.
Queer Gals Watch.
Queer Gals Watch. Wherever you get your socials.
queergalswatch@gmail.com if you want to send us a little email. Spoiler free, please. But otherwise, would love to know your thoughts on trivia, your study session requests. Also, just like, it's so cute getting emails that are like, hey, this is me listening to the pod. This is where and how I listen. Love hearing those things.
Because Leigh and I, we just think we sit in our respective workspaces and do this, and then we just sort of send it out into the internet, which neither of us understand truly, and in our brains no one's listening. And so when you guys come and contact us via email or on social media or one of the amazing patrons that we have on our Patreon, it just like makes us feel warm and fuzzy inside, like we've got this group of pals who don't mind our crazed ramblings. It really means a lot.
Yeah. We did get a message from a lady on Instagram letting us know that she is called Eleanor and she has a sister named Elizabeth. So my apologies to all Eleanor, Elizabeth sister duos out there. They're both beautiful names. They just are very similar.
Yes.
But love that for you guys, that you have a Bartlet moment.
Yeah. And honestly, that's like a built-in Halloween costume right there. Leigh, I will speak to you next week.
And we will discuss
episode 7
of series 4,
which is simply called Election Night.
How are we there already?
Yeah, okay, right, okay. The sooner we end this, the sooner it'll be next week.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Love you, bye.